big group of supporters with me tonight.
All right. Welcome, everyone.
Good evening. Many of you know me and have met with me, and some of you may remember me from 2 years ago when we introduced you to Fairfax Families for Kids, a county-run group mentoring program for youths 12 to 21. And at that time, you learned how Fairfax Families for Kids delivers against its mission to provide permanency and lifelong connections for youth in foster care, as well as children who have been returned to their families but who we still consider to be at risk. And you learn that this group is a family with adults who listen, nurture, give advice, sometimes nag, and in some critical cases provide food, clothing, and even temporary shelter. But most of all, we make sure that every child knows that he or she is not alone. The program now boasts 9 adoptions of children who would likely not otherwise have been adopted. Each child who's been adopted, saving the county almost $44,000 per year for every year that they would be in foster care. And those adoptions can also mean that kids don't become expensive statistics through homelessness, unplanned pregnancies, and incarceration. 2 years ago, you recognized the strong return on the county's investment of $133,000 as the annual budget for this program, and you approved transitional funding and allowed the county's staff management to move forward to outsource. But you directed them that the integrity of the existing award-winning program that had been created by county employee Dr. Beverly Howard must be maintained. Unfortunately, the past 2 years have been hard on this excellent program. There have been moratoriums on adding additional kids and mentors, and losing one full-time staff position has increased the pressure on mentors and volunteers to pick up the slack. The first RFP resulted in proposals with budgets several times the $133,000 of running the program inside the agency. And the second was for a generic mentoring program, which did not in any way reflect the successful elements of this existing program. When Supervisors Hudgens and Fry presented you with these facts and issues at the board retreat, you voted to delay the staff's management's decision on outsourcing until there could be further board review. And we applaud you and appreciate the fact that you were willing to stand up for kids who are at risk in our county. We're here again 2 years later with expanded goals, which we're going to frame by telling you about 2 kids. The first aged out of Fairfax County foster care last December at 21. Within a month, he was homeless, penniless, hungry, and away from his support system as he was living down in Richmond. He contacted members of the Fairfax Families for Kids community, and we provided emergency assistance, including an address of a church that would let him spend the cold nights, and a nearby library where he could spend the cold days, and we sent him food. But we were only able to solve the immediate problems on a situation that required early intervention and long-term development. That 21-year-old boy, who was born with as much promise as any child, was allowed to age out of foster care without the necessary skills to survive independently. It's devastating to think what is going to happen to this boy who is currently without a job and without prospects. The second is a boy I met when I was a homework tutor for a group home in D.C. Dante was turning 9 when I became his court-appointed special advocate. When he was 10, he put his hands around my throat and he told me that he wanted to kill me. His violent and aggressive behavior made it hard to visualize a successful future. When Dante returned to his mother at 12, I continued as his mentor with his blessing, and I remained involved in his education, health care, and other related issues. Dante, who was standing behind me somewhere, over here, recently told me that while I should never have been a math tutor given my poor math skills, he was very glad that we had met. Glad because there had been good and bad times, and all the time I was standing next to him. Glad because I made him think about things, like that he has options and choices in his life. This June, Dante will turn 19. He has chosen not to become a parent right now. He's working toward his high school diploma, and he was Salesman of the Month in his department at the local department store where he works part-time. Dante's success is a result of many factors. The person he's always been at his core, some of the counselors, teachers, and staff who he met along the way, consistent support, and most especially, early intervention. We come to you tonight with 3 requests. Do not allow outsourcing of Fairfax Families for Kids. You may know about Befriend a Child, a county-run mentoring program for at-risk kids who are younger, 6 to 12, which has recently begun to include foster kids, and we applaud that decision. And we applaud the decision that that program is going to remain inside the county. But we question why one program would stay inside and the other would go outside. We ask you to lift the moratorium on new mentors, and we ask you to make DFS accountable for kids in care and those who have aged out. Fairfax County has the elected officials, the community involvement and commitment to become leaders in foster care reform and supporting at-risk kids. Good intentions are not good enough. Let's work together to improve outcomes for our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joan, and thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who's come out and is here to support the program. And good luck to everyone. Thank you.